Yilmaz, Mark, impossible, obviously, to have any sort of comment on because he's had, 20 minutes, 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Are you surprised he's not had much game time?
I'm very surprised. I thought that because of the money we paid for him, we'd be straight in. I'm surprised that he could have quite easily lost faith with Borna and just gave him the big hook and worked him out but he's persevered him. So I think that's credit. I think that's good management, because I think that if you did do that to Borna, I think that he's pretty much the rest of the season is done, because I don't think he would recover for that kind of slate, that kind of the big hook. You're not playing. This young boy's here and he's playing because you're not doing it. So I think that the right thing, they've kind of let him back into the squad and let him play himself into a bit of form. So I think that that's worked well. But the boy Yilmaz, I was very excited for what I'd seen. I know that YouTube's not the best place to ever go and look at a footballer, because it could make the four of us look good. Do you know what I mean? We could look like £10 million players, but I think that you kind of get a feel for a player rather than. I mean, you're not going there scouting them, but you get a feel for a player, a general feel of what his attributes are and what he's good at. Very rarely did he show you what he's bad at. And I thought it was going to be a smashing player for us. I thought he'd be in. We paid a lot of money for him, and he would just get straight into the team and straight. I don't know why all of a sudden he's no. I think that maybe he's a wee bit lightweight. I think he looks very, very slight, and I think that to steal Kerr's, I think they're maybe feeding him the pie suppers and stuff that Kerr's shouting about. Everybody gets a few pie suppers in him, but I think that's maybe it. Maybe they're saying, look, we're needing to work on your fitness to the point where we need to build up your strength. I think maybe intensive strength training with the boy to try and get him up to speed with the kind of rigours of the Scottish game. I think for European stuff, I think he's absolutely fine to go in and start games at that kind of level, because he doesn't really need that physicality. So,
and he's got the experience of playing in Europe.
Yeah, but it's a wee bit of a strange one. I don't know whether maybe obviously there's a language barrier as well, because in his interview he was using a translator as well. So maybe they're trying to get him up to speed with a few different things, language and strength, and so. And fair play, if you're going to spend that amount of money, his 5-year deal is a long-term investment. So why? I mean, obviously we've got Borna there, so it makes sense to kind of cajole him into it and try and kind of help him so that it's quite a smooth transition from Turkish football to the Scottish game.
Do you know what, Wolf? Mark makes actually, and I'm surprised he made quite a few good points here, right? The first one I want to actually ask you about is, he makes a point about, giving Borna some game time rather than just bringing Yilmaz straight in, because it would just kill Borna's confidence stone dead. I tend to agree with that. And do you think maybe that's why Yilmaz hasn't just been thrown in?
I think that's part of the reason. It's a very good point that it's.
I know it's strange, isn't it? Mark making a very good point.
It was stranger if you'd made it, to be fair.
Well, yeah.
Even a clock's right, a broken clock's right twice a day. Do you know what I mean? You got to get one right sometimes.
No, I think it is a very good point. But the other things that stick out for me, he's a young lad leaving home for the first time, because he's born and bred Turkey. So that'll take some getting used to. He's moved to a completely different culture. He's moved halfway around, or 3/4 of the way around Europe. So he's moved to a completely different culture, a completely different society, a completely different way of living, completely different language. He doesn't, as Mark says, he doesn't speak the lingo. So he must be really probably struggling a bit to kind of settle down. And the fact that he's there seems to push Borna's game on. Borna seems to up his game because there's a bit of competition now. And the other thing that sticks out for me, the big thing, I mean, I was like Mark, I was excited. I thought, when I'm on record, the same, we've spent a fortune on this guy in relative terms, so he's going to start every week. The fact that he hasn't just come straight into the team tells anybody that we spend money on, listen, just because we're buying you for a lot of money, you're not guaranteed a shirt. And many times in the past have we said, well, he's guaranteed a game because look at the money we spent on him. If he's fit, he plays. The fact that we haven't put Yilmaz straight into the team tells you that whatever else is going on, doesn't matter if we've paid £5-6 million for you. If you're not doing it, if you're not settled, you're not getting a game.
Do you know what? I'm going to cut this wee bit up as a clip and put it out on YouTube just to advertise our memberships, because these have both made very good points, and it's the only time during the full show that these have made good points. So for everybody watching on
At least
normal
we've been
YouTube,
here for the full show.
for everybody watching on normal YouTube, if you fancy some more membership content like this, then click the join button below, or it will be in the description of the clip that I'm using from this member's video. So if you fancy some more membership content, then click the link below or click the wee join button. Keir, do you think Mark and Wolf made some good points here?
They actually did, to be fair, especially
Actually,
Mark. I was
my
a bit,
mind is
I was a bit
blown.
surprised.
My
I
mind's
lost me here. No, no, they did make good points, and both of them are correct in a way where he's a young boy, could take time to settle. Just because somebody costs 4 million, £5 million, whatever, you just can't push them straight into a first team. They need time to settle. Doesn't matter where they come from, but I just think it's an investment. Obviously, we know what he's like. We've seen him play. We've obviously been watching him for a while. We just not watched him a few games on YouTube. Like Mark, they watched him for a while, and they thought this guy can be a fullback for the next few years. And I think it will push Bournemouth on, because you know yourself, every top team needs two players in every position, just in case one goes out of form or one gets injured. You've got somebody as a backup. So him being on the bench will push Bournemouth's game. But also, I'll let him integrate with his teammates. He can integrate in training. He can learn about Rangers and learn how we baby play, learn about Scottish football. And like both guys have said, he can also learn the language. Because no football's language in itself, but you do need to communicate and listen to us for. It can struggle at times to understand what we are saying, because I speak quite fast. But in the Rangers dressing room, I think it might be more difficult. So
what?
Right.
Do you know what?
That's just too far, Mark. Too far.
I know. That's poor. I actually want to make this one point. I'll take it back to you, Mark, as well. I heard Gary Neville, I can't mind who else it was, go on about the new Man U signing, Martinez, the centre-back, right, wasn't physical enough to play against Brentford, right? And that's a centre-back that they've just spent, 60 million? I have never heard of one of England's major teams signing a centre-back to then be told, well, but he can only play in certain games where the attacker's not going to bully him. That's effectively what Gary Neville said, right?
I know, I heard much nonsense.
Absolute keek, right? So is there maybe a wee bit, I suppose, in that you know, Yilmaz comes in, exciting player, he just does need to beef up a little, just get used to the physicality.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think that all the new signings have probably had a wee bit of culture shock with some big ginger guy with any front teeth just kicking lumps at them. I mean, that's pretty much how it goes, isn't it? Welcome to Scotland. So, and
Sean when he left, they like Fleetwood.
But I mean, even the likes of over the years, I mean, it was a mate like Gattuso when he came here, and the physicality. Arteta as well. It was a making Arteta when he left here after getting kicked lumps at for God knows how long. So I mean, that physicality will help a player develop, and obviously that side of the game you don't need to worry about once you've had a season and you've got 4 pair of shin guards on wrapped around your legs, then you get to the stage where that's just what's going to happen. So you just pick yourself up and go on with it. So I think you're right. I think that it's something that you kind of, if you don't get to grips with quickly in Scotland, then it's something that's I don't think that with your point with Man United, I don't think that's anywhere near as physical.
I could not believe what I was hearing.
Madness, isn't it? It's just
from commentators who are saying that a £60 million defender can't play against big strikers. What's going on in the world?
He wasn't really at fault for him. Got an £80 million centre back who's awful.
But you know what? That wasn't even the point. If you're trying to tell me that Manchester United have just signed a defender who can only play against small strikers, I didn't hear them saying that before the game. I didn't hear them saying that when they signed him. He was the next big thing. But we're not here to talk about Man U, even though I'd love to talk about Man U and just absolutely slate them because I can't stand them.
Your point is that Mark has been awful for seasons, so Motor
I
off
know.
a duck's back, mate.
No, do you know, it was genuinely, it was just that comment for Gary Neville that he wasn't big enough to play in that game because Brentford have got a tall striker. It blew my mind. Well, Jim's asking, what about Tuesday's massive game? Obviously we will discuss that more on Monday night with our live phone in tomorrow night even. But just very quickly, does Yilmaz come into that game?
No, not a chance.
No.
For me, no.
I don't think so, no.
Do you want to expand on that? Or?
Aye, if you asked me the question, I gave you the
Yeah.
answer. I just think Borna's European experience, Borna's physicality, Borna's current form, Borna keeps the jersey. Simple as that. Simple as that. It wouldn't be fair on Yilmaz to throw him into that with the little game time he's had for us. Because if it goes wrong, you know what the Rangers support are like, they'll just rip him a new one.
I don't know if they would they?
Leave Borna in there. Of course they would. It's the Rangers support, of course they would.
I don't know, care. I mean, if it was me picking the team, I would have Bonner in there, just simply because I like what Wolf said. He's had a good start to the season. He's got the physicality, etc., etc. But would you be not surprised, but would you be worried if Gio decided, no, I'm going to put Yilmaz in?
I wouldn't be worried because obviously Gio thinks he's ready, but I think he'll go with Borna. I think he'll start. I think some of the players are left out yesterday for Tuesday in mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Davies got a game to give some minutes in his legs and rest his hands. And I think he'll go with quite similar to the team we played last week. Because we have to play guys who kind of know each other, who have played a few games together, and it's going to be a really hard tie because PSV are a decent side, aren't they? They've got a lot of technically gifted players, guys who can a threat for different positions in the park. It's not going to, but we will up our game because I don't know. I was saying that the other day to somebody. USG weren't great. They were actually awful, to be honest with you. But we weren't great either, especially in the first leg. The second leg we were better, but at times we still huffed and puffed. But that was more down to the way we played the name because I thought they were awful.
Mm-hmm.
But when we play better teams, we play better.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mentality in it. It's like, well, they don't. That's PSV. We're better than them. We done it last season. I know I don't want to keep looking back, but even though times in Europe, we always play better against better opposition. So I'm actually no fearful for Tuesday night or the away legs. I feel we've got to beat them. But I'm not saying we're going to win in both legs, but I feel over the two games we'll go through.